Hello, beautiful people. How are you today? Today is another session of podcasting to support local and global business owners. And we are going to have fun, giving you some information that is useful, especially during the pandemic time and beyond. So my guest today is a very, very special guest. Her name is Jody Danson. She is a mother of 3, wife of 1. I wonder, how many husbands can you have?
One's all I can handle.
She's an educator, blogger, and business owner. Life experience mixed with defense and education background inspired her to create Mama Chat, a blog and coaching space which supports mamas to reclaim themselves and their well-being so that they can become better leaders in their world. And she believes that when you feel healthy and empowered, you are a woman who radiates confidence and love, which underpins the ferocity of motherhood and the essence of life. Oh, love that. She offers simple and practical tips on her page. I love simple and practical tips. I'm a very practical person myself, which can be implemented immediately to create change for lost and frustrated mamas, as well as soon offering one-on-one coaching sessions and group programs. Jody is unapologetically raw and authentic, and her core value is to make a positive difference in the lives of others today to impact the future, healthier generations. Yay! Welcome, Jody.
And this beautiful people is the gorgeous Ingrid Galloway. She is a founder and relationship coach and chief relaxation officer. I'm going to say this probably incorrectly, at KAHYANGAN.
KAHYANGAN, very close, very close.
She has been a relationship coach for 11 years and a spa therapist for 21 years, mainly in 5-star hotels and day spas in Sydney. So she is used to looking after thousands of highly stressed clients from all over the world. Who does not love a pamper, I can tell you. She practices from I'm going to say it wrong again, KAHYANGAN in 5 Dock, from clients' houses, offices and hotel rooms, and online, given the environment we're in. That's so cool. Her work has always focused on stress, relaxation and relationships. She is a kind soul, always seeking to reach out to support the healing process for many stressed out people, broken and lonely hearted singles, stressed out parents and loving couples that cross her path. Ingrid offers one-on-one coaching sessions, group workshops and wellness at work programs for companies to create better engagement and harmony for their team members. Woohoo!
Thank you for the warm welcome.
Thank you.
Jody, I have a question for you. Why you do what you do? Because you're a teacher and you're a blogger, you have a couple of different things. Yes.
Yeah, a few balls in the air. Well, do you feel lost, or have you ever felt that you've lost that sense of self? Your kids are taking over, you've lost your passion for life, your passion for your own stuff. And the whole mother experience is supposed to be more joyful, right, than what you were before you become a mother.
Yeah.
Well, I founded Mama Chat based on those questions. 1, from my own experience, and 2, the gap that I saw. So I saw mothers of students who were happy within themselves. They were healthy, they valued themselves, they appreciated themselves, and so their kids did that as well. And in the classroom environment, it was really noticeable.
Yeah.
Whereas you saw mothers who were frustrated or struggled in some form, that reflected then on their kids as well. Yeah. Even though their intention was not to do that, but it did. So I saw that gap. And I mean, as mothers, we all wear so many different identities, so many different hats.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's really important that we start with that self-leadership first so that we can then be role models to our children. And that's basically where and why Mama Chat came from and how and why I do what I do. What about yourself?
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Well, I came from a loving but rather dysfunctional family in Indonesia. So I observed my parents, how they communicated to each other, and how they brought me up. And a few things that I could learn from my childhood was how not to communicate with my partner, how shame and guilt can be very damaging to your child's adulthood. Yeah, because if you keep preconditioning your kids with shame and guilt, then they become quite messed up.
Yep.
And then number three, how living through your child can be very damaging. I bet as a teacher, within your how many years of experience, you have watched parents that try to force the kids to do what they don't want to do, but because the parents want it. Yes, and they try to live themselves through their kids. So that's very damaging. In 1996, I left Indonesia to come to Australia to marry my first husband. After 10 years marriage, I left because it was an abusive relationship. And then I lost everything material, like properties, furniture. But the best thing was I gained myself. I gained Ingrid back. So
Fantastic.
I had no regrets. I'm very grateful to my ex-husband, even though the experience back then was painful, but I learned a hell of a lot of stuff that I didn't learn in high school.
Yeah.
Yes, so
they
life
don't teach you some
experience,
things,
no, you can't pay for those. Life experience, definitely not. And then during my healing journey, I went to self-development seminars. I went back to college to study counseling and life coaching. And straight away, I knew that I would be a coach, not a counselor, and my niche would be in relationship. And then I got married to my current husband, so far 20 years strong.
Fantastic.
We are loving to each other, and we produce 2 offspring. So one of my friends, she's Thai, and she said, "Oh, Ingrid, you have beautiful product," in her Thai accent. Oh, beautiful product? Okay. Funny how you say it.
They don't come with an instruction manual like other products, though.
No, exactly. And can I bring them back to the factory if I don't like them?
One's malfunctioning.
Yes. A lot of time. You'll hear about it later. So then, I am passionate about supporting other people, especially them who are maybe in a similar sort of boat, highly stressed, rather depressed, rather anxious, so I can help them heal and strengthen their relationships. And unfortunately, throughout the childbearing age, I gained postnatal depression. I mean, I already got anxiety and depression from my separation divorce. And then, especially with Harmony, the second child, I got pre and postnatal depression. So to say that I have hit rock bottom is like fair.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then of the late March and April 2020, I lost 4 aunties within 3 weeks due to COVID-19. So it just gave me a lot of sort of like insight of how to be more compassionate and bigger willingness to support others, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I do what I do.
Oh, thanks for sharing. Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Not a problem. Thank you. So, Jody, I have the next question for you.
Sure.
What are your 3 tips about identity? You mentioned something before about, mothers, they lost their identity as soon as they have kids. They become unhappy or maybe overwhelmed. Can you explain?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I could wrap it on about this for quite a while, but I'll try and keep it to the 3. So, it'll be difficult. Okay, so my first tip is to check in with what messages you are sending yourself. So there is the reticulated activated system, which is part of the brain which filters out messages that you pick up from around your environment through 3 to 5 senses. Sometimes people say there's 6. Also through your intuition and gut instinct.
Yeah.
So those messages then go through this, through the RAS, and then go to like the processing and storage plant in the brain. Now, I liken it to a gatekeeper. So the gate goes up and down, up and down. When it's down, it's saying, nah, those messages aren't what she needs or wants. We'll shoot those off. They go to the rubbish tip. And when the gate's open, it lets those messages through. If you are, in essence, sending negative, bad, unpurposeful messages to your gatekeeper, eventually all it's going to be letting through is negative, unpurposeful messages. That goes to the storage and processing plant in the brain, and then our identity starts to identify with those things. Messages like, I'm fat, I'm an unworthy mother, I don't deserve to be here, I don't deserve this, that, or the other. You know, those I am not enough sort of messages.
Yes.
So if we consciously send positive, purposeful messages to the gatekeeper, they're going to be letting in, well, let's be honest, we're not perfect. Not every message we send ourselves is going to be, you know, all glitters and rainbows.
Yes.
You know, let's be honest, we are human. But if we send more positive messages and purposeful messages, the gatekeeper's going to let in a higher percentage of those than the negative.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that then goes to the storage and processing plant of the brain, and then our identity starts to be molded into that person. So I am enough, I am worthy, I am capable of doing anything I want, I am a phenomenal woman, I am a phenomenal mother, all those sorts of messages.
Yes.
Eventually we begin to believe ourselves, and that's one of the key things with identity, is being able to have belief in yourself. So an action step to do that is to look at what you are picking up through your 5 senses. So what magazines are you reading? What music you're listening to? It's amazing what messages are in the lyrics of music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't think about it, and you go, and when you really consciously listen, you think, oh, maybe not. If the music sales go down, please, that is not my fault. What Facebook groups and you're subscribed to? If it's like Whinge Central, maybe that's not the best choice for you. Positive messages on the wall. So I have one in my bedroom called We Rise by Lifting Others. So whilst I don't consciously read it every day, and you don't have to do that, but my eyes glance over it every day, and then it does go to my gatekeeper, and that goes into the storage and processing plant. So that's tip 1. Tip 2 is don't be something you're not. Be raw and authentically you, because people see through the BS. If you're not being your raw and authentic self, and people are going to see through that, and you're going to be attracting people into your life, situations into your life that aren't going to serve you any purpose, because you're not being who you are. Yes. And the other thing in saying that is, don't try and become something you're not either. You know, like identify with who you are in essence as a woman and a person and a human being, because at the end of the day, we're born with, and someone else has mentioned this, and I really like this, so I'm not the creator of this statement, but your name is the one thing you actually own. So not your married name, your mate, like what you were born with. Identify with that person, encourage that person to grow to who they want to be, and identify with that. And then anything else on the outside of that is just an added bonus. So obviously we identify as a mother, we identify as a partner, we identify as a teacher, this, that, the other. But if we, in essence, don't identify with the name we are born with, then how can we identify as anything else?
Yeah.
So action step. And the other thing too, actually, is if we try and be someone we're not, it doesn't serve us any purpose, but it also doesn't stick either. Like that identity doesn't stick. We kind of jump in between and we get even more lost.
Yes.
Can't
So
see the forest
definitely.
Yeah, can't see the forest for the trees. So an action step for that is to begin looking for podcasts such as yours, books, coaching that gels with you, that floats your boat, that goes for your needs and desires, and jump into that journey, but making sure that all those things are purposeful to who you identify with as a person. Because, yeah, obviously, like I said before. Number 3 is be kinder to yourself. Don't fall into the trap of the controlling helicopter parent kind of thing and work, which is really hard, you know, for some people. Allow kids to make mistakes. Now, why I say this as identity is if we are so busy trying to be that controlling helicopter parent, we're spending more time on them and not allowing time for us as a person.
Yes.
So obviously if they're going to burn down the house, then chop her in that baby and stop them burning down the house. But allow them, understand that it's okay for them to make mistakes. It's okay for you to make mistakes.
Yes.
Be imperfectly you, that's okay. You know, obviously we have to use common sense here. The other thing, it gives being kind to yourself and allowing you to express who you are, which will role model to your kids that they can identify as themselves, and that's okay for them to express, rather than trying to helicopter parent them to be a certain way.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So a really good action step is scheduling time for you, so you're kinder to yourself and you can step away from all the helicoptering and be authentically yourself. Now that can, people go, oh, how the earth am I going to do that? Well, schedule time, book in daddy daycare. They're a dad. Like if you have a partner, they're a dad. It's their job to be a dad. So it's great bonding time for them and the kids, and you get time out. Now this time out is not so you can fold up the clothes without the kids. Hey, but there are some people,
job.
that's true, but some people, that might really float someone's boat, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But ideally, this is time where you go and do, whether it's a hobby or you go do something for you that feeds your soul and, you know, feeds your cup, you know, fills your cup up. And if you're a single parent, because I've been there too, as a single parent, I used to book in after school care. So I used to get that break it was a Friday afternoon. So that Friday afternoon period after school, he'd go to after school care and I'd get that hour and a half to myself, or I'd ask a friend. And obviously you pay it back, you know, a sandwich isn't buttered on one side, it's buttered on two. So, you know, you obviously reciprocate that favor. So
That's great. Golden nuggets there. So action plan and action it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you? What's your 3 tips for relationships? I'm a bit intrigued about this. This is going to be handy.
Yes. So I will say, number 1, find out what your love language is or are. Some people are lingual or bilingual, so they have more than one. So just to explain to you quickly, if you don't know what 5 love languages are. So physical touch, so people like being touched and they feel loved. Words of affirmation, so you say I love you and then you feel loved. Acts of service, so I do stuff for you, like I cook for you so you feel loved. And quality time, so I spend time with you, then you feel loved. And then the last one is I'm going on mind blank. What's the last time? Oh, gift.
Gifts.
Yeah. So when I buy you a bunch of flowers, you feel loved.
Yeah.
Yes. So find out what your love language is and find out what your partner's love language is and tell each other, right? And then number 2 is to shake your silly out. So just dance, move. You know, I saw your pre-podcast story on Facebook. You said, yay, getting ready for the podcast.
Yeah.
And I said, shake your booty.
Shake it out.
Yes. Together with your partner, just shake your silly out. You've been bunkered down together for 24/7, you know, plus kids. It's stressful. I get it. So to release the pent up energy, just shake your booty out. Be silly.
Yeah.
You know,
pull out the old school moves.
Oh yeah, definitely. The helicopter, or is it the sprinkler?
The sprinkler.
The sprinkler.
I love the sprinkler.
Yes. And then last one is shower your partner with the 5 love languages, just like sending love overload, right?
Yeah.
So especially with their top one, of course, say if your top one is words of affirmation, for example. Now we say to our kids, you know, oh, what a great job you have done, you know, well done, child, you know, high five. And what about our partner? Have we ever acknowledged him or her that way? So often, regularly acknowledge our partner's effort for whatever, whether it's homeschooling, whether it's doing their own work, whether it's doing the housework, anything, you know, hug them, spend time with them, purposely just, you know, full attention on them for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, doesn't matter, and do things for them. Give them a card, for example, and write, you know, nice messages. So you tackle 2 things at once. You know, you give them a gift, which is not expensive. It's just a card.
No.
Yeah. And say beautiful words inside. So words of affirmation as well. So overload them with love. So then your stress level will come down and you will strengthen your relationship that way.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. I love the love languages. Works with kids really well too.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fabulous. That's good. Now, audience, I would like you to guess with me which are the true statement from Jody. So this is the time where we have fun. Jody said that Jody's teenage son is addicted to Snapchat selfies, or Jody is addicted to Snapchat selfies. Which one is a true answer? I think teenagers, there's, you know, they're into this sort of thing. So I think number 2 is correct. Jody is addicted to Snapchat selfies.
The ting. Yep.
Woohoo!
Yeah. I love it. He does not love it so much that I am addicted to Snapchat selfies. And it's only really to him because I use it as a form of communication. So I send him all these weird and wonderful Snapchat selfies with, you know, bulging eyes and whatever else. And my text message written down below with these weird faces and whatnot. And he goes, Mum, please, can you it's just weird. We'll just stop. That's so, in other words, I've said to him, I said, that's code for you want more, not a problem. so now that's how I communicate with my teenager. I'm sure he loves it.
Yeah. There you go. So go down to his level, right?
Yeah.
So you communicate his way.
Yeah.
Through Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he answers that before he'll answer text message.
Oh, okay.
So I don't worry about text messages anymore. I just send him these weird Snapchat selfies. Yeah. Okay, audience. Ingrid sent me her true or false. So number 1 is Ingrid's 10-year-old daughter dropped a clock that blocked the family toilet. Number 2 is Ingrid's husband dropped a clock that blocked the family toilet. So my first thought is, what on earth is a clock doing in the toilet? Which poses all sorts of questions. So I'm actually going to go with Ingrid's 10-year-old daughter dropped a clock that blocked the family toilet.
That is correct. free.
That would have been really hilarious had it been your husband.
Oh my God. So tell me that. I'll tell you the story. So Amelie accidentally, so we have this Tasmanian clock we bought in Hobart. Right, just around about this big. It's not very big because we don't have a clock anywhere else in the house, right? This is our old house. So we put it on top of the toilet to be able to tell time, apart from looking at your phones to tell time. So then one day she accidentally knocked it over into the toilet, and Nonna from Tasmania happened to visit us at that time. She put on the dishwashing glove and she get into the toilet to retrieve the bloody clock. So I guess my daughter tried to flush it or something. I don't know. It was completely stuck. So my mother-in-law rang me at work. Ingrid, just want to let you know that this is what I've done, but don't get angry with your daughter, but I tried to retrieve the toilet. Oh, for days it became completely blocked. And then we had to call the plumber, take the whole toilet out.
Oh my gosh.
And $700 later,
you got the family clock back.
And a couple of days later, we end up with a new toilet. And during that time, whereby we didn't have any toilet because we only have one bathroom, I had to go down to the building's toilet. There's a deserted toilet for the whole building used by tradies or something like that. It was completely horrendous. It's like a ghost house in that particular bathroom down in the dungeon of the building. And I had to bloody clean it so I can, like poo and do stuff in there.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the new toilet to arrive.
Oh,
it was an experience.
Actually, Nonna and I have something in common because I've had to do that a couple of times. Although not a clock, just toilet paper, during kids, learning to go to the toilet themselves. Yeah. I actually own shares in the toilet paper company. I'm sure of it. And rubber gloves.
And rubber gloves. So there you go. Thanks, Nonna, for trying, but she was unsuccessful. Cool. So thank you so much, beautiful people, for watching and listening to our collaboration. We hope that you learn a thing or two about practical things that you can do to make your current living situation better and more fun. So we hope that we understand a little bit better about what we do. If you need more support about, being an overwhelmed mom, you can follow Jody's blog and connect more with Jody. If you need help with your relationship issues, please connect with me. Or if you need some more relaxation, I can help you with that. So remember that you don't have to wait until you are on the verge of a divorce to see a relationship coach. Prevention is definitely better than cure. Please like and subscribe my YouTube channel. After you watch this, our links will be on the post, so you are most welcome to stalk us online. I look forward to connect with you next time. I have more informative, uplifting, and fun chat just like this one with local and global business owners, because I really believe that this is the perfect time for us to connect and support each other as human beings.
Absolutely.
So keep well and lots of love. Thanks, Jody.
Thanks, Ingrid.